If you are struggling to save your first $1,000, you're not crazy. It is not a lack of discipline. It is not because you're bad with money. The first $1,000 is mathematically, psychologically, and practically the hardest money you'll ever save. And I am going to prove it to you. Welcome to Wealth Can Do. Today, I am breaking down why saving your first $1,000 feels impossible, but saving the next $10,000 becomes almost automatic. This is not motivation. This is not a pep talk. This is the science and math behind why wealth building works backwards. By the end of this video, you will understand the 3 hidden forces working against your first $1,000, why it gets exponentially easier after that, and the exact strategy to break through that initial barrier. Let us get into it. First, let us establish how real this problem is. According to a recent Federal Reserve report, 40% of Americans could not cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. 40%. That means nearly half the country does not have even $1,000 saved. But here is where it gets interesting. Once someone crosses that $1,000 threshold, the data shows they are exponentially more likely to hit $10,000 within a few years. Why? Because the first $1,000 is fighting against forces that the next $10,000 does not have to deal with. There are 3 major barriers that make the first $1,000 brutally hard. Once you understand them, you will realize you are not failing. You are fighting an uphill battle that everyone faces. Let us break them down. The first barrier is what I call the emergency cycle. When you have 0 savings, every unexpected expense becomes a crisis. Your car needs new brakes? That's a crisis. Your phone breaks? Crisis. Medical copay? Crisis. And here is the trap. When you do not have savings, you are forced to put these emergencies on credit cards or take out payday loans. Now you are not just dealing with the emergency, you are dealing with 18% to 25% interest on top of it. Let us say you save $200 this month toward your first $1,000. You are feeling good. Then your car needs a $300 repair. Not only do you lose your $200 in progress, you go $100 into debt. You're moving backwards. But once you have $1,000 saved, this cycle breaks. When your car needs $300 in repairs, you pay cash. You do not go into debt. You do not pay interest. Your $1,000 becomes $700 temporarily, but you are still in positive territory. Now you can save that $200 next month and get back to $900. The month after, you are at $1,100. You are moving forward instead of backward. The emergency cycle is broken. Here's the math. Let us say you are saving $250 a month. With 0 savings, one $300 emergency wipes out more than a month of progress and puts you in debt. It might take 3 months to recover, 1 month to pay off the $300, then 2 more months to get back to $500 saved. But with $1,000 already saved, that same $300 emergency sets you back 1 month. Next month you're back on track. That is why people with $1,000 saved reach $10,000 faster. They're not constantly restarting at 0. The second barrier is psychological, and it is massive. Saving your first $100 feels like nothing. You look at your bank account and see $100, and your brain says this isn't even enough to matter. What is the point? It is hard to stay motivated when your progress feels invisible. You are working hard, cutting expenses, saying no to things you want, and for what? A number that could not even cover rent if you lost your job. Your brain does not see $100 or $500 as meaningful safety, so it is hard to stay disciplined. But once you hit $1,000, something shifts. Now you have 4 digits in your savings. It feels real. It feels substantial. And more importantly, you start to see your money grow faster in absolute terms. When you have $100 and you save another $100, that is 100% growth. Mathematically impressive. But you went from $100 to $200. When you have $5,000 and you save another $500, that's only 10% growth. But you just added $500 to your account, which feels way bigger than adding $100. Your brain is motivated by seeing big numbers increase, not percentages. Going from $5,000 to $5,500 feels more exciting than going from $100 to $200. Even though the second one is a bigger percentage gain. This is what psychologists call the momentum effect. Once you see consistent growth in bigger numbers, you get addicted to the progress. Saving becomes its own reward. You start looking for ways to save more just to see that number climb faster. I've seen this happen over and over. People who struggle for months to save their first $1,000 suddenly save the next $5,000 in less time. Not because they're earning more money, not because they got more disciplined, but because watching $6,000 become $7,000 become $8,000 is way more motivating than watching $200 become $300 become $400. The psychology is working with you instead of against you. The third barrier is the lifestyle trap, and this might be the most brutal one. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, saving feels impossible because you're operating at maximum financial efficiency just to survive. Your rent is due. Your phone bill is due. You need to eat. You need gas to get to work. There's no fat to cut because you are already running lean. Telling someone in this situation to just save $100 a month is like telling someone to squeeze water from a rock. But here is what happens once you have $1,000 saved. You unlock financial flexibility. And with flexibility comes opportunity to optimize. Let us say you are paying $100 a month for car insurance. With no savings, you have to pay monthly because you cannot afford the lump sum for a 6-month or annual policy. But guess what? Paying annually usually saves you 10 to 15%. Once you have $1,000 saved, you can pay that annual premium upfront and save $120 a year. Now you are putting that $10 a month in savings instead of into the insurance company's pocket. This applies to everything. You can wait for sales and buy in bulk. You can shop around for better rates on services because you are not desperate. You can negotiate bills because you have the option to cancel if they do not work with you. Before you have savings, you are price taking. After you have savings, you are price making. And every dollar you save by being flexible goes back into growing your savings faster. By the time you are at $5,000 or $10,000, you are operating with a completely different financial efficiency than someone at zero. That is why the gap keeps widening. The rich get richer. Not because they earn more, but because they can optimize in ways broke people cannot. Now let us talk about pure math. Even if you are just keeping your money in a high-yield savings account earning 4.5%, the numbers work in your favor as you accumulate more. Your first $1,000 earns $45 a year in interest. That's $3.75 a month. Basically nothing. But when you have $10,000, you're earning $450 a year, or $37.50 a month. You are making progress without even trying. But here is where it really accelerates. Once you cross $1,000, you can start investing some of that money into assets that grow faster than savings accounts. You can open a Roth IRA and invest in index funds that historically return 10% annually. You can start a small side investment. You can take advantage of your employer's 401k match, which is literally free money. At zero savings, you cannot do any of that. Every dollar you have needs to stay liquid for emergencies. But at $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, you have options. Let's say you keep $1,000 as your emergency fund and invest everything. Above that, in an index fund returning 10% annually. If you're saving $500 a month, by month 12 you've saved $6,000. But with investment returns, you might have $6,300. By month 24, you've saved $12,000, but you might have $13,200. That extra growth is pure acceleration. The gap between you and someone starting from zero keeps getting wider. Not because you are working harder, but because math is now working for you. So how do you actually get past that brutal first $1,000? Here is the strategy that works. First, accept that this is a sprint, not a marathon. Your goal is to hit $1,000 as fast as humanly possible, even if it means extreme measures for 60 to 90 days. Why? Because the faster you break through, the faster you escape the emergency cycle. Second, treat this like a side hustle, not a budget exercise. Cutting $10 here and $20 there is great, but it's slow. You want to generate extra income. Sell stuff you do not use. Pick up overtime. Do gig work on weekends. Every extra dollar goes straight to savings. Third, automate it. Set up an automatic transfer on payday. Even if it is just $50, automate it. You can't spend what you do not see. If you can save $250 a month through cutting expenses and earning extra, you will hit $1,000 in 4 months. If you go aggressive and save $500 a month, you'll hit it in 2 months. I know that sounds hard. But remember, this is temporary. Once you hit $1,000, you can ease up. You've broken through the hardest barrier. From there, the next $10,000 will feel easier because all three forces, the emergency cycle, the psychology, and the lifestyle trap, are now working with you instead of against you. Let us recap. Why is the first $1,000 harder than the next $10,000? Barrier 1. The emergency cycle. When you have no savings, every unexpected expense sends you backward. Once you have $1,000, emergencies slow you down but don't stop you. Barrier 2. The psychology of small numbers. Saving $100 at a time feels pointless, but watching $5,000 become $6,000 become $7,000 is addictive and motivating. Barrier 3. The lifestyle trap. With no savings, you can't optimize. With savings, you unlock flexibility and efficiency that accelerates your growth. Add in compound growth and investment opportunities, and the math literally works exponentially better once you cross that first $1,000 threshold. If you are struggling to save right now, you are not failing. You are fighting the hardest battle in personal finance. The first $1,000 is brutal, but it is also temporary. Push through it, and everything changes. If this video gave you a new perspective on why saving feels so hard, hit that like button. It helps YouTube show this to more people who are stuck in the same struggle. Subscribe to Wealth Can Do for more real talk personal finance content. I break down the psychology and math that actually matter, not just generic advice. Share this with someone who's trying to save their first $1,000. Let them know they're not alone, and it does get easier. Drop a comment. Are you working on your first $1,000, or have you already crossed it? If you've crossed it, tell us. Did it actually get easier after that? Remember, wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about breaking through the barriers that keep you stuck. You've got this. See you in the next one.